Welcome to TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. And this is our Friday night Smackdown review. And don't let the calm, sultry intro fool you folks, because normally I say recline back your chairs and ease your cares. Nah, fuck that shit, homie. We folding those chairs up, we're using them like steel chairs, and we're revving the fuck up because the ending to Smackdown got me fucking hyped. Oh my god, the Universal Championship match for Royal fucking Rumble. I think honestly it's my most anticipated match on the card, and I said back on January fucking 2nd, I believe, that if they did this match, it would be WWE's match of the year 2021, at least the first entry for them. We don't know how many entries they'll get this year. I would hope a lot. I root for wrestling to succeed. And speaking of wrestling on the whole, this SmackDown was not bad. There were some head-scratching moments for sure, but I gotta tell you, two things, well, actually one thing, and it kind of like brings off, that SmackDown is really getting right, is Roman Reigns, is this whole tribal chief thing. It has such, like Stephanie Triple H vibes from early 2000s.
Yeah.
When they used to run everything, it has that same energy, because, you got Jey Uso saying, him and Roman run this, and given the stroke that Roman actually does have, or at least perceives himself to have, he was really kind of swinging that around last week into tonight. So I think that's the greatest narrative thread that SmackDown's got going for it, and really how it's benefited the undercard. As it looks again, how Jey Uso actually looks legit, how Nakamura is being built back up, how Cesaro has more intrigue to him given what happened with him tonight, how Apollo has more intrigue to him given what's happened tonight, and because they have more intrigue, the people they interact with are also going to be elevated. So this whole thing, here's the thing, folks. I'm a leftist. You guys know that. And you also know that Ash and I have both said that in terms of economics, the whole trickle-down mindset is bullshit. But in wrestling, it might actually work, because I feel like it's actually working here. So, Ash, what did you think of tonight's show, man? What are your thoughts on it?
I quite enjoyed tonight's show. I thought it was a pretty good show. There were one or two matches that I wasn't really super into and kind of faded away, started paying attention to other things during, but that's kind of usual for me. I don't, TV matches never really interest me unless it's guys that I'm really, really excited to see work. Unfortunately, for completely different reasons, I missed most of Brian Cesaro, but it was still a pretty good show. I would give that SmackDown a thumbs up. I also just noticed our next episode of Proper TWitWoW will be episode 666.
Oh, wow. That's just wonderful. That's just absolutely wonderful. All right. Well, with that said, guys, let's get right into our, first segment, Heat of the Night. And I only really have one nitpick. I don't like, we did Liv versus Natalya tonight. And, fine. Natalia's on my TV. She is part of the roster that's to be expected. Fine. Liv loses. I could almost understand that too, because she lost because of Billie Kay. Billie Kay shouldn't be able to ingratiate herself to the Riot Squad right away. It should be a disruptive process. It should disturb the rhythm. I get all that. But couldn't we have done all that without Liv's finish getting buried? Because the move that she does, that jumping, almost knee to the face, this jumping
almost like
face,
recoil.
Yeah, recoil that she does. That's how she got on the Women's Survivor Series team back in November. I feel like that's how she's been winning her matches. Natalya kicks out of it tonight.
Yeah.
So, and this is another thing, too, because I know I'm reaching here. I know I'm going into the bag, so to speak, and I apologize. But I almost feel like they haven't decided on a finish for Liv Morgan, because keep in mind, too, when she was kind of doing her own Black Cat thing before her and Ruby reunited, she was doing, that in-the-ropes flatliner.
Yeah.
Finish.
Dude, that's what she was going for when Billie got in the ring and stopped her.
So maybe that is her proper finish. So maybe this nitpick isn't even warranted, but I feel like she has won quite a few matches with that recoil maneuver, so it was kind of a head scratcher.
So if anything, it buries all the girls that have lost to that move.
Yeah. So again, maybe this nitpick is unwarranted, but it is just something that just came to my mind. Ashley, I'm going to field it over to you, though. Do you have any nitpicks or even full-blown heats of the night for tonight's show?
I have one heat of the night and one heat of the night only, and that is the women's finish. The fact that Tamina was able to, get all up in Billie Kay's face and allow Natalya to, to beat Liv, and like that whole situation. Like, I fucking hated everything about that. That, I even said this in the Discord, that to me pretty much was a snapshot of almost everything that I hate in WWE, because you had two absolute shitters with famous dads going over three genuinely talented women who were trying to make it on their own.
Yeah, I think points were made. Absolutely. It's funny. I thought your heat of the night was going to be them still using Dominic Mysterio to do stuff, because we know he's like got something going on with Corbin.
So here's the reason why that wasn't a heat of the night for me. And maybe it's more just me being a petty jackass, honestly. I feel like that segment confirmed everything that I've been saying about Dominic Mysterio. Like, it really did show that the dude's got a personality of a wet mop. He's just absolutely a nothing as far as personality goes. And it's funny because there was a point in the Discord where I was getting ready to be like, I just had a realization. Dominic Mysterio and Pat McAfee are opposites of each other. But no, McAfee's just better than him in every way. Because like, it was like, I was getting ready to be like, Dominic is like this sort of prodigy phenom type in the ring, but he can't talk. And then McAfee is like this legendary talker, and he's not as good in the ring. But like, McAfee's match with Adam Cole was fucking amazing. McAfee's performance in War Games was fucking amazing. So no, he's just straight up really, really good at that too. And he's an absolutely incredible talker. Like, there's just the skill. Like, McAfee is a 9 out of 10. Dominic's like a 7 out of 10 at best overall.
So you just feel like you've made peace with it, and it's like the more they kind of showcase him, the more it kind of vindicates that point that like you are way over pushing him beyond his talent currently.
Yeah, I felt very vindicated when he was on commentary floundering, trying to find words.
That was awkward. That was very awkward tonight, him trying to do commentary. I will say, the only line of intrigue that this story has got for me personally is just the idea of like who Rey is going to bring in, because he did say to Dominic, you want to fight Corbin? I know the person to go to. It's probably going to be a letdown, and by a letdown, I mean, like, we shouldn't get crazy and think it's going to be, the most fantastical person, right? It's probably just going to be very straightforward. But you know what? Honestly, it gives the mid-card something to do, in Corbin. I noticed he didn't have his loyal, I want to call them Knights of the Round, but I know they're like wolves or whatever. They might be just dropping that already. So, yeah, again, the undercard on SmackDown, and again, things that coagulate around Roman Reigns and company are really, really compelling shit. So, with that said, let us get into our Friday night SmackDown review. And we open actually with Roman Reigns and Paul Heyman together, presumably in Roman Reigns' locker room. And, Roman doesn't say a word, but his face says everything. You can tell he's displeased. You can tell he's unsettled, so to speak. And Heyman's talking about, all these contracts are the same. All these terms and conditions, they just swap out the pay-per-view name. And, this is no different. It's just Royal Rumble. So he could tell that Roman wants more. He says, Roman, there needs to be a stipulation to this match, or stipulations to this match, that will really allow you to be you, that will really free you up to be you, and to teach Adam Pearce fear and respect. And Heyman says, hey, let me handle this. And he goes and he takes it. I love this, man. I'm telling you, the main event scene on this, and again, how it kind of affects parts of the undercard, so good for SmackDown right now. Great way to start the show. Because I even said in my notes, like, on my side of the table, of which Roman sits at the head of it, of course, this segment succeeded because Heyman alluded to stipulations. I was curious where they were going to go. I mean, what my heart was set on, and I can't fucking believe it actually happened. We will get to that. But I'm like, okay, handicapping. Well, no, that would favor Pierce. Like, what are they going to do? So they have me hooked there. We cut from that. Jey Uso's music hits. And I'm just thinking we're going to get right into the action. But Jey actually cuts a pre-match promo. Now, Ashton, I think you got in when Nakamura came out, so I guess I'll talk about the pre-match promo, right?
Yeah, I got in. Literally, I saw maybe 5 seconds before we got to commercial. So it was literally just Nakamura posing on the ropes, and then we went to commercial, and that was it.
Right. So Jey more or less says, guys, I'm not going to take up too much time on this. like him and Roman run this. I do love the line that he had. He had two great lines. One, definitely, because it comes straight out of TWitWoW, I feel like. He said, this isn't Friday Night Smackdown. This is the Bloodline show. Love it. Love the energy. Jay says that him and Roman run shit. They take care of everybody, and Jay's going to do his part for the family. He's going to take care of business. He declares his entry into the Royal Rumble. Says he's going to win, then he's going to go over to Raw, and he doesn't care if it's Drew McIntyre or if it's Oldberg. That was the second line. I love that he dropped the G and just kept it real. He said he's going to, win the WWE title, and then the Bloodline controls all of WWE. And he talks about Nakamura, and he talks about everybody Nakamura went through, but the moment Roman and Jay said, not today, Oos, it was over. So pretty much talking about, they can flex whenever they want to. Nobody can do a damn thing. Nakamura interrupts, and we get this match with one interesting beat kind of in the middle of it. Cesaro's music hits, he comes out, and he joins commentary on the remainder. So now I want to kind of reset, though, and look at the whole match, and this is where I am going to hand it over to you. How'd you feel about this match, man, and the kind of wrinkles we had in it?
Are you talking about Jey Uso versus Nakamura?
That's correct.
I kind of half paid attention to this. The thing that really stood out to me was the weird timing of Cesaro coming out because of the fact that Nakamura was in control of the match when Cesaro's music hit. So I was like, is Cesaro about to turn heel on Nakamura? And even like in the post-match celebration, when Cesaro was holding Nakamura's hand up in celebration, I was like, is he about to attack him from behind it? Like, I kept thinking he was going to turn on him, and it just never happened. It just made it really awkward. Like, I feel like they just could have timed that better. Just have him come out before the match starts, have him come out early in the match when Jay is on offense, like anything. But the way that they did it was just so awkward and weird. It made me completely just feel disconnected from the match.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. It was weird timing. I feel like it could have been, if you wanted to play with the ambiguity, it might have even been better to do it at a moment when Jay was kind of in control. And then when Cesaro's kind of talking, you can kind of see how, something doesn't feel right here. So you can kind of set up, okay, Cesaro's going to support Nakamura. Though then when you start hearing him on commentary, it's like, oh, something just feels a bit off about this. He doesn't seem sincere, what's happening kind of thing. So yeah, I agree. The timing could have been a bit better. But I still enjoyed this match. I think you had a great line that you said to me when we were kind of talking about it, man, where it's crazy that they've done such a great job building Jey Uso up that Nakamura winning, given how much he's been kind of watered down, I'll say, how much he's been diluted credibility-wise. If Nakamura were to win, it would almost look like an upset, given where these guys are respectively on the roster pecking order. I thought that was a great insight by you. And then I kind of retorted to you that they've built up Jay so well. I wouldn't be surprised if he was one of the workhorses in the Rumble. The commentary marvels, Jey Uso's been in this match for 35 minutes kind of thing.
Yeah.
So Jay is really a fascinating figure in the Smackdown scene right now because, I've already told you, there's some Twitter feedback where people are like, I want Jay to turn on Roman and beat him for the ultimate babyface redemption, in a match. Some want him to do it for the title. I'm not that enthused. I wouldn't mind, though, Jay beating Roman down the road in like a non-title upset matchup. But, I'm loving his story. Again, I'm loving the whole thing going on here. And it's just amazing how it's benefited Jay. Main event Jey Uso, except he's opener Jey Uso this week. So, yeah, Cesaro's like, oh, of course, I support Nakamura. He's my friend, et cetera, et cetera. And again, it just feels just a bit contrived, just a bit. And Nakamura ultimately does win with the Kinshasa.
Yep.
Jey Uso would later take umbrage with Charles Robinson about it, saying that, he that wasn't 3 and that Robinson's got to do his job. So, again, Jay trying to flex. But, yeah, Nakamura gets the win here. Do you have anything else you want to add to this?
No.
Okay, we get Sonya Deville, Adam Pearce, and Paul Heyman all in a segment. Sonya's trying to Pearce like about, I'm confident about your chances. I guess trying to build him up for this match. And Adam Pearce is like, oh, I appreciate that, but I'm not this was kind of thing. And then Heyman comes in and he interrupts. And ultimately, the first suggestion is no disqualification match. Roman, no disqualification. And Pearce is like, oh, of course you wanted to be no disqualification because Roman wants to hurt me. He wants to leave me with an injury. Yep. And then, who do you think that stipulation favors, Paul? But he very quickly actually signs the contract. I'm like, okay, so man, we really are setting.
I mean, dude, he probably even had the ace up his sleeve at this point. He probably signed it knowing full well that he would have Owens' help the whole time.
Yeah, that's true. So he's like, whatever. And he just needed Roman to confirm, so he just had to play ball. God, this was so good. And Heyman's he's so proud of himself. Again, you had another great line. This isn't a later segment. But you had a great insight where you said that Heyman really seems to flex more and kind of be more douchey in a way with other people that aren't Roman, where he's more like trepidation, reserved, has trepidation, this and that around Roman. Around other people, he's the Paul.
He's like a scared puppy with his tail tucked between his legs when he's around Roman.
Yeah, exactly. And it works so well here. So this is again just another wrinkle and all that. Again, I have the Jey Uso, Charles Robinson kind of little interlude after this. I already explained Jey was just complaining to Charles. Almost seemed like Charles could have been, I liken this to the Stephanie Triple H kind of era. I forget what they called themselves, but yeah, when they fired Hebner, for counting fast in that one Jericho matchup, I thought Robinson could have been a Hebner here, but he didn't get fired in this. But Jey, I think, alluded to it, like, hey, start doing your job right or else. Then we cut again to these guys. I mean, a lot of time was devoted to this. We got Paul, Roman, and Apollo Crews in this. Now, I will say I wanted to be a better journalism for you guys because I knew that this happened, but I didn't. I'm going to be honest. I didn't really care to give the time to watch it because just a lot's been going on lately. But I knew that Apollo was on Talking Smack, and we know Heyman's a co-host. And so that was very clearly a tie-in this segment. I wanted to kind of alert you to that too, Ashton, if I had a chance to watch the clip. But we did get a little snippet of it before Apollo's match with Sami, where Heyman just said, like, there's a winner and there's a loser in matches. You can't treat Big E like a friend. You can't treat anybody like a friend. If you want to get to be a champion, if you want to be higher in the food chain, so to speak, you got to just start playing to win, more or less. So I like how this kind of incentivizes people to watch Talking Smack because I feel like it rewards people who watch all of the programming. Yeah. And I feel like it's not in a way as overbearing, at least in my mind, as AEW does it. Where
dude, I was just going to say that. Like, the way that they do it here, it's like they'll have Talking Smack and it's good content for anyone that wants to watch it. But if any really important shit comes out of it, they will show you on the TV show.
Yeah. Exactly. Because they even, again, recap that small little snippet, and I'm sure there was more of it, but just enough to drive the point home before Apollo versus Sami. So, again, I've got to give SmackDown credit. You incentivize viewership of another program, but you don't punish those that haven't caught on to that yet. But you kind of make the connection, hey, make sure you watch it so you can be the first to know, and you can be in the know with your friends when they talk about it. I love that. It's the little things, man. So Roman's talking to Apollo. Apollo's kind of nodding his head, being like, oh, good shit. And then Heyman brings the contract back. He's like, oh, Apollo, you can stay. You can learn from this. Heyman explains, oh, we got no disqualification. And Roman's like, I didn't want no disqualification. I want last man standing. That makes two of us, Roman. And Paul's just like, God damn it. God, I spent all this time. I flexed on him. But okay. You're the tribal chief. I'm merely the council. We will get you last man standing. Takes the contract. He goes back. Oh, my God. Okay. So then after that, we get Liv versus Natalya. And you know what? We pretty much already talked about this. I do just want to say, though, just to kind of squeeze the last little bit of juice out of this, I am starting to warm up to Billy being a part of the Riot Squad or just being whatever she is right now. I know you're really enjoying it, too.
I do. I really do.
Yeah, you know what, dude? You've been like a fan, really, both of Billy and Peyton. So it's got to feel good for you that Billy's really getting something to sink her teeth into. Because and they've totally forgotten about Peyton. What a fucking 180, huh? I really thought like Peyton was going to be like on semi-regularly, and Billy's actually. I mean, if you measure success on look how much TV time I'm getting, Billy's not doing too bad for herself as she could be doing. So good for her, I'd say. Hell yeah. Yeah, so I'm curious to see where this goes, and really if she'll finally ever be accepted into the Riot Squad, I don't know, but we'll see what happens. And yeah, Javaris, I agree completely. Fuck all of that. But after that, we get Rey Mysterio versus Corbin. Gonna be honest with you guys, Corbin is slowly starting to turn a corner with me. But I really don't care about this undercard feud. He pretty much beats Rey Mysterio after he sends Rey into Dominic because Dominic got heated after being punched in the face like a bitch. He tries to rush the ring. Rey's like, no, hermano, we gotta, stay calm, stay focused, and then, bam! Corbin just shoves Rey into Dominic. Hits End of Days. That's the 3 count. Again, nobody cares. Pierce Heyman backstage. Heyman again.
We are flying through this review. I love it.
Yeah. Pierce Heyman backstage says, last man standing. Pierce is like, oh, of course, come on. And again, he's just like, we know faux apoplectic. Because he's like, of course, Paul. This is most unorthodox, but fine. And Heyman's like, well, it's okay, Pierce, because you're going to be able to sign it in the ring tonight. And he's just thinking he's got the upper hand, but Pierce is like, joke's on you. I'm bald, and I've thought through this. So, after that, we get Rey and Dominic backstage, and Dominic being a whiny little bitchbag, but Dad, I want to fight Corbin now. And Rey, being the grizzled vet of the non-Zach Gibson and James Drake variety, says, no.
No. He's a grizzled old vet, not a young one.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Actually, no, that works.
That's the original saying. The original saying is grizzled old vets.
That is true. Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm fucking all about this ending, that is. I'm still got my mind stuck on Last Man Standing, to be honest. But Rey says, look, I do have to give Rey credit here, because I do want to focus on silver lining of this. Rey, being a veteran, legitimately, understands that, hey, no program really fucking matters unless the person you're in the program with looks good. So I like that Rey actually reminded us, hey, he's been a United States champion, which I genuinely forgot about, if I'm honest. Hey.
Same.
He's won Money in the Bank. I remembered because he failed.
Yeah,
hey,
he did.
He won King of the Ring. I remember that too because it should have been Andrade. So,
well, I remember it because they won't let us fucking forget it because he's still considered to be a king even though this year ran out like 2-3 months ago.
Exactly. So you know what though, in all seriousness though, kudos to Rey for building Corbin up.
I guess we're really going by monarchy rules where you're the king until a new king is crowned.
Yeah, exactly. Until they do another King of the Ring. Yeah, they probably... Yeah, mood. They probably won't do another King of the Ring until, 2022 or some shit.
Dude, you're being way too generous. I was going to say 2026.
Yeah, honestly, you're probably not even that far off.
I bet it's closer to 26 than it is to 22.
Yeah, probably.
Sad but true.
Rey alludes to the fact, I know just the guy to help you get ready to fight Corbin. I don't know, maybe Bull Dempsey's coming out of retirement. I don't fucking know.
God.
Yeah, that's a vague reference for all of you diehard NXT fans.
Why would you even bring that piece? No. Why?
Oh, yeah, I forgot he was a piece of shit. Well, fuck him, too. Well, really, fuck everybody. But we, just cover all ground by just saying everybody, because they're probably going to come out anyway. So we get the debut of Bayley's new talk show, Ding Dong Hello, and I didn't hate this at all. I really thought I would, honestly. I thought that this would finally be oh God, we're really trying to do this, but I'm convinced now that Bayley can make literally anything work.
Yep.
So how'd you feel about this?
Oh no, I totally agree with you. Bayley, first of all, this concept is far too corny to have worked, but it fucking worked. And second of all, when Bayley came out in that goddamn turtleneck and with the fucking round glasses and the super bright purple eyeshadow, it worked. She looked fucking adorable. It blew my mind how good she looked in semi-formal wear. And then Bianca comes out just chilling in almost athletic, not actually athletic gear, but in more casual attire. And she looked amazing too. And this segment was really fun. I love the way that Bayley kind of shrugged off Bianca sitting in her chair. And she was just like, that's actually my chair. And Bianca was just like, oh yeah, you got good taste. This is comfortable. And Bayley was just like, oh, I guess maybe I'll sit over here. And then she goes to sit on the stool and she realizes that she doesn't want to because it's not comfortable. And she stands up. She's like, I'll just stand. It's fine. You know, I'm going to have to be doing a lot of standing in the Royal Rumble. I'm probably going to be in there for like 60 minutes since I'm going to win it. So I might as well just get my legs warmed up anyway. Like the way that she played it off, I feel like that felt improvised, but it wouldn't surprise me if that was scripted. That was really good though.
Bro, what I loved about it, and like I'm definitely, I don't know, showing myself or whatever. It just had such a 90s aesthetic. I know you mentioned Saved by the Bell, so that
dude, the actual graphics for it were 100% Saved by the Bell. Even like the little intro theme that they played for it was 100% inspired by Saved by the Bell for sure.
But I felt like the aesthetic with like the glasses and everything, even though I know she never looked like this, it had such like Ricky Lake energy almost. It's like,
I can see that. I can see that. Yeah, Ricky Lake was a lot sassier.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like, she comes through the door and like it's just schmaltz all the way down, but it's so fucking good. And I think it works too when you've got a no nonsense, but in a playful, entertaining way, like Bianca to play it off with, because Bianca, she's like behind the door and she rings, and it's like Bayley's like, oh, I wonder who that could be, and then Bianca pokes her head like around the door, and she's like, Bayley, what? You know who this is?
Yeah.
And they do all that. I gotta say too, speaking more broadly now about the feud, I like that this isn't just a, Gur, you cheated to beat me, I'm going to beat you up the next chance I get. There is actually a genuine playfulness to this that I don't think undercuts the seriousness of it. Like, I think Bianca understands how huge it would be for her to beat Bayley because she's talked up Bayley, and because Bayley doesn't need to be talked up. I mean, we've literally just witnessed the best year of her career last year, going into this year, 2021. So, they get that, and I think those stakes are maintained. But it takes itself seriously enough to do that, but not so seriously that it just feels like every other, like, oh, I've got to be super serious all the time. And I say that because they're doing the playful banter again, and I like that Bianca, as a babyface, because here's the thing, I think the whole idea of wrapping yourself up in EST, I'm the fastest, strongest, smartest, the best, that's very heelish just when you hear it. But when Bianca explains it tonight, because Bayley straight up asks, like, she promotes Bianca's Chronicle. That's worth noting. She does a Chronicle coming out on the network. And she says, here's a sneak peek of it. And it's Bayley beating her last month, which I can't believe that match was already a month ago. It feels like much earlier, but, whatever. And she's like, I don't know how that got in there. And then she just skips over to the questions. Why do you call yourself the EST? And, Bianca starts to explain it. It was a nickname I came up with, with all these things I did, but, running, like track, stuff like that. And Bayley's like, all the things you did before coming to WWE? Don't you think that's disrespectful for every woman that's paved the way? And like Bayley's tood with those glasses and everything, it works. I think she knows exactly what she's doing, and it's amazing. And Bianca just says, like, Bayley, why are you so threatened by my confidence? Like, why are you so threatened by me just owning that I'm confident and I'm proud of who I am? And when she explained it like that, it's just confidence in me. It's confidence in what I bring to the table. It becomes endearing more so than heelish. And I applaud Bianca and I applaud Bayley being the actual heel, navigating us to that place where we can accept a concept like the EST as something worth rooting for. Yeah. Because we should all be confident in what we bring to the table. Bayley certainly is, because she challenges Bianca to an obstacle course next week. Because, Bianca at first says, hey, we can clear this set out. We can have a rematch right now. And Bayley's like, I got nothing to prove. I already beat you. But then she, again, retorts, obstacle course. Bianca is laughing about this, which, again, I can accept when you look at her accolades.
Yeah, I was going to say, I cannot blame her one bit, all things considered. Because, like, come on, Bayley. Is this just heel ignorance, or do you have something up your sleeve? Because if you don't have something up your sleeve, it is 100% ignorance for you to think that you're going to beat her in an obstacle course.
Yeah, like, bro, I was waiting for her to spring on Bianca, like, in the same segment, and she may just do it next week, I don't know. Like, oh, but you've got to do it with both arms tied behind your back, or some shit like that, right?
Yeah.
But we don't get that here. It's just we established the obstacle course for next week. But again, I love it. Like, I think another thing too, and God, I hope you guys don't get annoyed by me likening this to past feuds, but I guess that's just how my brain operates. This also low-key kind of reminds me of MVP and Matt Hardy. I think back in like 2006 and 7, I want to say like around that period. Because, they used to do things like eating contests, basketball, and this and that. And it hasn't gotten to that place yet, but they've done a wrestling match with Bayley won, by cheating, rigging the eyes. Now they're going to do an obstacle course next week. I still feel like, I know I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because we haven't done Royal Rumble preview predictions, but I do think Bianca will eliminate Bayley in the Rumble. I'm 100% convinced of that.
Do you agree with me then that Bayley will, as already having been eliminated, reach in and eliminate Bianca?
Oh, God. It's definitely possible. It's definitely highly possible. Obviously, I don't want that to happen for reasons we'll get into in our preview, but it's definitely on the table. So yeah, I just love that they keep going back and forth with each other. This is a highlight of the program, which I'm glad, because Liv and Natalya was unfortunately a low light on the Natalya side of things, but Bayley and Bianca bringing it back, so good shit there. Then we cut to earlier today. Daniel Bryan training with the Alpha Academy. I love that Bryan is just down to do anything because he loves wrestling. He's like, yeah. Because I don't know if there are internet purists left that are like, but that's the American Dragon, Bryan Danielson. He shouldn't be doing comedy. And Bryan's like, bro, I just fucking love wrestling. Like, I want to do everything. So he's training with Chad and Otis. He talks up the Alpha Academy program. He's like, it's great. It's helping me get ready for Royal Rumble. And, he gets asked, how did it feel, losing the gauntlet match, losing to Shinsuke? And Gable's like, no negativity, okay? This is a positive space. And Bryan's like, oh, no, no worries. Shinsuke's an amazing competitor. I have an infinite amount of respect for Shinsuke, and I'm sure he feels the same way about me. And then Cesaro is just exuding, mind if I cut in energy, because he does. And he's like, well, you're not Shin's friend. I am. So, like, how dare you speak for Shinsuke's thoughts? I can speak for Shinsuke's thoughts because, Shinsuke apparently can't speak for his own thoughts, right? And he says that handshake he gave you, it was a pity handshake. And they kind of go back and forth, and that's how we get this next matchup here, Bryan and Cesaro. Now, I feel like, no, you actually even said at the start of the show you weren't able to, like, watch this match as much as you would have liked, right? Something came up, or, like, you were tied up.
Yeah, I had to take care of something while this was on.
I mean, it's Bryan and Cesaro. What's not to love? I mean, great mat wrestling, great psychology, early on in the match. Bryan tries to, work over the arm of Cesaro, setting up for the yes lock. And, Cesaro, though, gets a huge opening because Bryan's doing shoot kicks with Cesaro leaned up against the steel post. I feel like you and I, man, we warn people all the time, don't do this shit. Because he gets the first kick, he doesn't get the second. He ends up kicking the post. Cesaro then, for the remainder of the matchup, is just going after the leg, culminates in a sharpshooter spot. They kind of, trade submissions from sharpshooter to yes lock to Cesaro attempts a crossface back into the yes lock for Bryan. So great wrestling there. Yeah, Abel, I agree. It was so good. Cesaro tried to go for the pop-up uppercut. At one point, Bryan counters, gets a backslide. That was a beautiful sequence. He ultimately does get it later in the matchup, though, and it stuns Bryan so much he gets the neutralizer. Cesaro beats fucking Bryan. So a couple points about this, and I feel like I can enter you back in here as more of a dialogic thing. Bryan continues to be the most selfless man in the locker room. He does not care how many L's he eats, because, again, I refer back to point A. He fucking loves wrestling, and he just wants to wrestle. B, this is great for Cesaro, because if he is going to turn heel, or I guess stay heel at Shinsuke's expense, this is great momentum for him. Cole calling it a career-defining win. It's so funny because only a day or two ago, and Abel, I'm glad you're here because I know you'll never forget this night because I actually predicted that this would happen. Back in 2014, February 14th, actually, we're like less than a month away from this. Cesaro beat Randy Orton when he was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. And Michael Cole called that all those years ago a career-defining victory. So I don't know how many times Cesaro's career has to be defined before he gets to that next level, but apparently this is another one, according to Michael Cole, him beating
Hey, man, as long as they're spaced out enough, right?
Yeah, there you go. And yeah, I guess the big story, though, because we know the overarching story, well, I guess stories, is Bryan very clearly wants Roman Reigns because Jey Uso and the tribe, or the bloodline, excuse me, the bloodline, have given Bryan a lot of grief. He openly told Heyman he's coming for Roman Reigns whether he wins the Royal Rumble or not. I guess he would just prefer to do it at WrestleMania. Ergo, I need to win the Rumble to do that. And
yeah, dude, I'm telling you, more and more, I'm starting to feel like the winner of the Rumble is going to end up being a Raw guy, or at least somebody that wants to challenge Drew or Goldberg. Probably Drew, let's be real, at WrestleMania than Roman. I think Drew's going to end up being the one to be challenged by the Rumble winner.
And that's fair. That's fair. That wasn't even going to be my question, though, is if you think Bryan's going to win, because I would say.
Oh, no, I'm perfectly aware I was going on a tangent there. I just wanted to say that before we moved on.
No, that's perfectly fine. I'm just thinking, man, like, they also built up, just to wrap up my point, that he's never won, like, a Rumble or any type of Battle Royal, as he joked on Talking Smack. And he's losing on his way to the event. Got eliminated by Shinsuke in the Gauntlet. Loses to Cesaro tonight. Is he going to be... I wonder what number he's going to get in the Rumble, man. Because, like, if he's one of the first two people, and then he fucking runs it, right? He runs the table. That'd be amazing. Like, I'm intrigued by the storytelling they're doing of Bryan really not finding his footing before he really wants to make an honest run of winning the Rumble. So, I mean, do you feel like they're going to do anything special with Bryan here, or...
Well, we do have Rumble preview and predictions in.
So you kind of want to hold off? If you want to hold off, that's fine, brother.
I kind of want to hold off because that's like that's our biggest preview prediction of the year. It's even bigger than our WrestleMania preview and prediction most of the time.
Absolutely. All right, man. I respect it. I just wanted to kind of.
I will say though, I love that they are building as many people as they are for a potential Rumble win. It makes it that much harder to guess who's actually going to win it.
I agree 100%.
Because if I didn't get this strong feeling that someone's going to win it and then go to Raw or win it from Raw, I really would probably be picking Bryan to win the whole thing. This is the closest that I felt like they are intentionally building Bryan as a way for him to win the Rumble ever.
Yeah, I don't have any disagreement with anything you've said here. I've obviously got some rethinking to do myself, given how SmackDown ended, and I am perfectly okay with that. But yeah, I mean, very interesting stuff happening on SmackDown, and again, particularly with the main event scene. It's just such a great fucking time. And speaking of that, well, not quite there yet. We have 2 segments left. Carmela Interview. Again, she just doubles down, I just said when it comes to natural talent, Sasha doesn't compare to me, this and that. And ever since I beat Sasha a few weeks ago, haven't seen her. Isn't that funny? And then she kind of blindsides Carmela. And Carmela's like, are you serious, Sasha? So again, kind of alluding to, God, Sasha, you're so crazy. What's up, But Sasha's just like, hey, you know what? Fine. You get your rematch. Because the Somalia actually gets between them. That's worth noting. Says, okay,
I dig this dude. He's charismatic as hell. I like him.
I honestly, and I don't say
he takes a hell of a bump, too.
He does. I don't say this to be mean to Carmela. I can't wait for this dude to break away from her and to see what he can do as an actual competitor. Even if they bring him back down to, bring him back down, even though they're, third brand my ass. Even if they, shift him to NXT or something. I'm curious what this guy can do, because the way he evaded Sasha those few weeks ago when Carmela did pin her, he looked really good. Now, I don't know if he's just a great athlete and a shit wrestler, or if he's holding on us. I don't know. But I'm just, all this is to say, I'm curious to learn more about the dude.
Yeah.
And Sasha says, fine, Carmela, you can get your rematch, but I want a match with him first. And she does say you, because she's looking right at him. And Carmela's like, oh, that's fine. You can, you're supposed to do what I say anyway. So you can have your match with him. And again, though, it's not a nitpick. And Sasha's the best person to do this with. And again, that guy does seem to have some athleticism. But I like how, because it's very obvious that Sasha's going to go over, to me, that they're willing to do intergender so long as the woman looks good, which to me is quite distinct from telling a good story altogether, because in a good story, sometimes the woman will have to look bad for narrative progression. Yeah. That's why, again, Lucha Underground to me will always be the standard bearer, even if they didn't get everything right, because I know sometimes on our rewatches we were like, well, maybe that could have been a bit better. At least they tried telling comprehensive stories that weren't about, we've got to protect this one sex so that we don't get accusations of battery or violence against women. No, we're in the business of telling stories, period. And I hope one day WWE gets there, but I highly doubt it. So I just wanted to point that out, that it's funny that they're committing to it, knowing full well Sasha is going to look good here, rather than just a more comprehensive story where they could make everybody look how they're supposed to look based on the narrative.
Yeah.
So, with that said, we can move on. Apollo versus Sami Zayn. Again, interesting stuff here because they play the clip. Heyman kind of talking sense into Apollo. Sammy's got his camera crew, documenting the conspiracy against him. Big E's on commentary in a fine-ass couch and a fruit cup. So he's enjoying himself. He's living his best life. Solid matchup, more or less. Ultimately, the finish comes. Sami tries to cheat. Referee catches it. It's like, come on, this is ridiculous. Apollo does the exact same cheating, grabbing a handful of tights. He gets away with it. Sami, of course, is apoplectic, but the big story here, Apollo immediately goes to confront E. He takes the Intercontinental title, and he's looking at it, and Big E, starts getting hot. He's like, come for me. That's the last time you're ever going to touch that, And Big E's just exuding this intense charisma that I'm really loving from him. I wish it was higher up on the card, because I do absolutely believe he's above the Intercontinental title. But maybe Big E can show that to us by having a worthwhile title reign. At least I hope WWE permits him to do that. We do get confirmed that Apollo versus Big E for the title. A rematch is happening next week. So, partner, do you have any thoughts about this?
I don't think I do. No, I don't think I do.
All right.
I am enjoying this sort of slow burn heel turn for Apollo. I low key, I kind of mentioned this earlier. I thought Cesaro might end up somehow getting his way into the bloodline, maybe just through the Heyman connections, as we know that he was a former Heyman guy. But now it's looking like Apollo might end up joining in on the fun, and I'm very curious to see how that plays out. So, I guess that's my contribution.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. All right, we get to the contract signing. It seems like Pierce is very just hesitant. He sits. He doesn't sign the contract right away. Jey Uso kind of boots him out of the seat that he was sitting in. Pierce goes and he sits on the other side of the table. He signs. I was expecting some long-winded promo from like Roman or even Pierce making the revelation. But no, they sign it. Heyman's kind of bragging to Roman like, look how pathetic he looks kind of thing. We got him. We got him cornered. He's all yours for Rumble. And Pierce just looks and he says, I've been waiting all night for you to do that. I'm like, oh my God, wait, is it? Because it's been a few weeks. He goes, starts walking up the ramp. All of a sudden, though, it seems like he's limping, man. That knee. God, those in-ring injuries, man. You never know when they're going to crop up and aggravate you. And, damn, Scrap Daddy was so ready for it, too. I know we were all hyped for it. But his knee, man, really was rough. That sucks. And he says the same thing, man, damn, really sorry about that. But thankfully, we have a clause here, card subject to change. And, because I am a WWE official, I guess I'll take advantage of that. And we did just promise these fans a last man standing match, so maybe you won't mind facing this man. KO's music hits. He comes out. He's smiling. He shakes Pierce's hand. Roman looks pissed. He's like, how the fuck did this get away from me? And just want to point out that on January 2nd, I tweeted, and this was after Roman Reigns and Jey Uso beat the crap out of Owens and kind of threw him off the Thunderdome through a table. I said, Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns in a last man standing match. Commentary keeps mentioning how KO will not stay down for the Universal title at Rumble. WWE will have its first nominee for Match of the Year 2021. Mark my fucking words. Finally, I have a tweet that ages well. Fucking
Congrats,
finally.
bud.
I know. Honestly, at the risk of sounding like a total douche nozzle, I deserve this. Especially because of how, uppity I got about the whole Aaliyah Murphy whole thing. I feel like this was the universe giving me what I was owed. So I will absolutely take this. I deserve this. Thank you, everyone. And to get back on a more serious matter, I am hyped as fuck for this match, dude. I have loved these two working together. I fucking love babyface Owens. I love heel Roman Reigns. The stip is narratively perfect. You have the recipe. You have the recipe for an absolute match of the year contender for not only just WWE, because I have been insistent that it's going to be their entry, even though I really don't think anything is going to top Ibushi White for me right now. But, dude, you never fucking know, right? They just have to go out there and they have to do it. And if they do it to such a degree that I am fucking giddy, It may just supplant it. I am fucking stoked for this shit. God damn. I don't know, man. How are you feeling about this? You think these guys can have a great last man standing match?
Oh, absolutely, yeah, for sure. I'm sure they will. Um, I'm definitely not as like over the moon stoked as you are, but that's not to say I'm not excited. I am excited. It's going to be a really fun match, and like it's definitely at the very least it's the third most hype match for me behind the two Royal Rumble matches themselves.
Yeah, and I know some people on Twitter that are fans of both guys, but definitely like feeling that tribal chief energy, are like, oh, I can't wait for the tribal chief to finally put KO down. And yeah, more than likely, Kevin's probably going to take the L here. Although I'll be perfectly honest, I'm not 100% convinced as of yet that is the case. But even if he does, though, that's not the point. The point was to tell a great story, and Kevin got to be a part of that, which he's deserved to be a part of, because I feel like for so long they were doing that KO show bullshit with him and not having him be an active competitor enough. And even when he was like active, it was for mid-card feud bullshit, like fucking Raw Underground and eye patch Aleister Black. This feels worth Kevin's time. This is where he's supposed to be. And it's paying off in fucking spades, baby. Fucking spades. So next segment, as we just fucking crushed this review, high spots, low shots. I'm going to say my low shot is Sami Zayn, because he legitimately got cheated tonight. And it's also kind of a low shot for us because his conspiracy theory fuel just got a huge fucking boost. But yeah, really Sammy's just further and further from a proper rematch with Big E, man. It sucks. He went from former Intercontinental Champion to not even the next, like, most contender, number one contender. That's Apollo definitively now next week. So who's your low shot?
Oh God, you know what? In my mind, just me being petty, I really want to make my low shot Liv Morgan because of the whole the recoil move not working and losing to Natalya. But trying to keep myself grounded, wait, who was your low shot again? Just repeat it one more time.
Sami Zayn.
Oh, perfect. Then my low shot is Roman Reigns.
Perfect, because I wanted this high spot all to myself. It's Kevin fucking Owens.
Yeah.
He's got another shot. Definitely his last shot. Roman Reigns, Universal title, last man standing. Now, I will say this, and I normally don't do this in a high spot. We usually just keep it on like who had the best week. I do hope narratively they need to elevate this feud just a little bit. They've got, again, perfect stiff, perfect ingredients. You need to narratively address how Kevin's going to deal with Jey Uso, because that's been the factor for both matches, and he could still be a factor here because it's no disqualifications. So how is Kevin, in the shows that he's got remaining, he's got 2 Smackdowns left before Rumble. How is he going to address the Jey Uso problem? That's what I'm looking to see addressed in this feud here, because if Kevin doesn't adequately address it, he goes from a smart babyface maneuvering this to just another babyface, because it's like, oh, I thought my heart and resolve was going to be enough. No, this is a problem. Deal with it. But that aside, fucking brilliant tonight. Got to stay home a whole week last week, wasn't on the show, nurse up, and then already, despite even not being on the show last week, still number one contender to that Universal Championship, because he knows if he can just get Roman one-on-one, no Jey Uso, which, again, that's not guaranteed with this step. I'm hoping he guarantees it in the next 2 weeks. He really believes he can beat Roman. I fucking believe it. And he's going to do it for the fathers. Damn it. So, high spot, Kevin Owens. Who's your high spot?
Oh, I don't know if I can beat that. Let's see. My high spot is actually going to be Cesaro, because he defeated Daniel Bryan clean as a whistle tonight. No problem.
Absolutely, and he may have ulterior motives, man. So he's got momentum for him. That's huge for Cesaro. So I think that's a great pick by you. All right, with that said, guys, this has been Smackdown. This has been TWitWoW, the best wrestling podcast made for wrestling fans, by wrestling fans, on the web today. I'm John. That's my cohort and commentary, Ashton. Guys, be sure to like the videos you file out. The more likes you leave, the more likely we are to be the top search result for Friday Night SmackDown reviews on YouTube. And when you're the best at what you do, the top is the only place that you belong. So please leave that like. Be sure to subscribe, click the bell icon for notifications so you never again miss any of that TWitWoW goodness. Comment down below. Talk to us. What's your favorite thing going on Smackdown right now? Who's looking the best heading to the Royal Rumble on the Smackdown side? How are you feeling about Kevin Owens versus Roman Reigns last man standing? We'd love to hear from you. Check out everything TWitWoW is involved in the description box. You can follow both of us on Twitter at John_TWitWoW, at Ashton_TWitWoW, respectively. My pinned tweet is to collect Q&A questions. You can submit Q&A questions, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Discord, and Q&A this month will be January 28th. Q&As are always the last Thursday of every month, so January 28th is where that falls. Non-Patreon donors get 3 Q&A questions. If you want additional Q&A questions, you just donate $1 to the TWitWoW Patreon. That'll give you 2 additional Q&A questions for a total of 5. I said that you could submit questions to Discord. TWitWoW has their own Discord. That is $3 a month, and you're going to want to get in on the Discord. Great group of people, great energy, and we've started doing Among Us lobbies. You know, traditionally they're on Mondays. We did one last night. It was a lot of fun, and hell, the more people we get, the more exciting the game, because, you know, it's just a bigger lobby. We can do 2 imposters. We can do a lot more things with more people. So get in on that. It's a lot of fun. Let me think what else. Oh, of course, I always like to walk you guys through the week. So here's what I'm going to do. Because we have nothing else for the remainder of the week, this is our last recording for this week, I am just going to walk you guys through next week. So we don't have a recording again until Tuesday, January 19th at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. We have got a Patreon request from the Chief in. It is a Christian Cage matchathon. I want to say it's like 5 matches, right, Ashton? It's like 5.
It's 4.
Oh, it's 4. 4 Christian Cage matches that we're going to be live reacting to. So that's at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Tuesday, January 19th. Wednesday, January 20th, 10 p.m., NXT Review. Thursday, January 21st, Stardom 10th Anniversary, Korakuen Hall Show live reactions. For Stardom, that'll, of course, have happened on January 17th. We'll be covering it on the 21st, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Friday at 10 p.m., it'll be a Smackdown review. And then the weekend, as of now, we are clear. So that is the week for next week. Tuesday, Christian Cage Matchathon at 4. Wednesday, NXT Review at 10. Thursday, Stardom live reactions at 5. Friday, Smackdown review at 10. So, with that said, guys, enjoy your 3-day weekend from TWitWoW, because, again, we won't be doing anything Monday, January 18th. We will see you again on the 19th for some Christian Cage, the instant classic. And until then, folks, as I always say, be good to yourselves, be good to each other, and until we meet again, tune in, peace out.